everyone, and good morning from the 2014 Pure Silk Bahamas LPGA Classic. I'm Kelly Thazier from the LPGA Communications Department, and I am joined here by two very esteemed writers who we are lucky to have down here in beautiful Paradise Island to kick off the LPGA season. I have to my immediate right Steve Eubanks from Global Golf Post and Sirak from Golf World Magazine. Thank you guys so much for joining us here today. We're really excited to kick off. The first time since 2001 the LPGA Tour is kicking off the season in January and at this beautiful place. Steve, what does this do for the LPGA's momentum to kind of have such an early start?
Well, you know, I remember when we played in January in Florida at the time, and it was a big momentum boost at the time. And I think having it back here is really going to be great because, as we were just talking, it's minus 37 in Minneapolis right now. People are going to be tuning in. They're going to see playing in beautiful Paradise Island, and hopefully it's going to generate some interest, and people will carry on through the rest of the year.
Yeah, you know, and just look at it, put it in the greater perspective too, how far Mike Wan has brought the tour over the last few years, and coming from that bottom of 23 tournaments and getting it back to 32 now, and really having that feel that there's a sense of momentum, and the fans are not going to lose track of the tour. They're not going to lose track of who the hot player is, and that hot player is not going to have to sit out 3 weeks before they can play again. It's just an amazing step forward.
Talking about momentum, just a couple weeks ago the LPGA announced the new race to the CME Globe, a season-long points competition where fans can follow along each week as players gain points, and the winner has a chance at winning $1 million, the largest prize check in all of women's golf. What does this new race do for the LPGA, and how do you think it changes things for fans and players?
I think it's great because I think it comes on the heels, the FedEx Cup is old enough now that people are accustomed to this sort of thing. So they're going to be able to follow. They know what they're doing when they're following along. So they understand these year-long races. But in this instance, I think it's going to be incredibly important because this could be life-changing for someone. Where I think a lot of people, they sort of get lost in the money. This is a big deal, and I think that fans are going to understand the significance, and they're going to follow along because of that.
Yeah, you know, I think one of the things that golf has started to realize is how stat-crazy fans are in all sports, and you know, baseball, no sport does it better than baseball with sucking their fans in with numbers, and that's what this race is going to do. It gives another point of connection for the fan to have with the players every week. They can see how the race is going. I think they've really got the end of the season thing right now. I think this is going to be a great conclusion, and to build on Steve's point, $1 million in the LPGA is an enormous amount of money. I mean, I think the leading money winner last year was about $2.5 million. So you're talking, what's that, like a 40% increase? That's pretty good.
Another part of this whole race is a charity component tie-in. It's going to be called Wounded Warrior Project Weekend, where every eagle made is a $1,000 donation to the Wounded Warrior Project. At CME, the CME Group Tour Championship, $5,000 will be made for every eagle that's recorded. What do you think kind of having a charity tie-in kind of does for that? Like you said, fans love kind of following stats along. This kind of gives them another fun thing to follow along and to see somebody else kind of benefit from what's going on out here.
Well, because I have a personal interest, Wounded Warrior is my personal charity as well, and I really think that tying in with one charity like this, especially one that's this important, will bring fans in that might not otherwise have tuned in. You're going to get the person who may or may not flip by women's golf. They're going to stop now because they understand the importance and they understand what the benefit is going to be to that charity.
No sport gives back the way golf does. It's absolutely true, and you see it week in and week out. And having this added thing of almost a year-long charitable component for people to pay attention to really is going to hammer home that point even more. That golf gives back every week at every tournament.
As we get ready to kick off the first round here today, last year it was all about the big three. Indy Park, #1 still in the world. Suzanne Petterson's now #2. Stacey Lewis at #3. It was really all about those three players last year. They had tremendous years. Now there seems to be some other players that are kind of on the verge. How do you guys think that's going to play out with the big three? Do you think it's going to be all about them this year, or do you think we're going to see some other players kind of emerge to challenge that group?
Well, I think we definitely will see other players come through, and I think you're going to see a lot of fresh faces. I mean, we have Lydia Ko in her sort of rookie debut this year, this week, and so you're going to see a lot of players kind of stepping up. But still, I mean, I don't think anybody wants that #1 spot in the world worse than Suzanne Pedersen. She is going to drive and drive and drive this year to try to reach that, and so that's going to be fun to watch.
Stacey wants it pretty badly too. I mean, you saw after she lost #1, I believe it was like early in April, she went on this incredible run where she virtually never finished out of the top 10 the rest of the year, and ended up having the most top 10 finishes on tour. I think there's probably a half dozen players who have a legitimate claim at being the best player on tour. Na Yeon Choi is somebody who seems to be there all the time. You keep looking for somebody that, and it may be somebody whose name we have yet to mention, could come out and have an Inbee Park type year this year. It seems to happen all the time. I think the talent level is so deep out there now that it's not going to be just those three. There's going to be other people in the mix.
One name, of course, that's going to be a big one this week as she makes her LPGA rookie debut is Lydia Ko. We've all seen how successful she's been out here as an amateur. She made her professional debut on the LPGA Tour at the ending of the CME Group title holders last year. And now she's kicking off her rookie season. What do you guys expect from Lydia this year? I know she's already off to a pretty good start this morning. What do you think that she can accomplish, and how do you think kind of having a full rookie season is going to affect her?
Well, I think it will affect her in terms of the amount that she has to play, and fatigue obviously becomes a factor. The most impressive thing to me about watching Lydia play now in several events is the fact that no one has ever had to teach her strategy. She instinctively knows where to hit it, where not to hit it. She hits shots so that she has uphill putts. Things that a kid that age shouldn't know, she instinctively knows. And it's really kind of something to see, especially when you look at her and consider her age.
I played with Lydia in the Pro-Am yesterday, and I know that when Mike Wan was making his decision about an exemption to the minimum age rule of 18, one of the things that he was considering is not only do you need to be physically talented enough to play out here, you need to be mature enough to sell the tour, mature enough to represent the tour in social situations and social functions. I could not have been more impressed with what a level-headed young woman Lydia is. She was smart, she was engaging, she was funny. On the 18th hole, as we came up the 18th hole, 3 of the people in our group peppered the scoreboard with wayward shots to the right, and Lydia walks over to apologize to the guys working on the scoreboard. Hey guys, sorry. I mean, she's a very together young woman, and I don't expect her to lose her way. I think that she's got her feet on the ground and will stay focused.
Ron, was yours one of those shots?
Yeah, except I was short at the scoreboard, actually.
As long as you missed it and didn't have to pepper it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. I know we're getting ready for a very exciting 2014 LPGA season. A lot of storylines to come. Make sure to stay tuned to LPGA.com and follow along with live scoring to keep in tune with everything that's going on in the LPGA this year. Thanks.